And the battle of Steph Curry and Jason Tatum. Celtics are 6-0 following a loss this postseason. Tatum getting ready, so is the other dynamic duo. Draymond Green, though, not entirely effective. Certainly not like Jaylen Brown. First quarter, 17 points on 6 of 9 shooting. He matches Ray Allen for the most in any finals quarter by any Celtics player in the last 50 years. And for the record, the Celtics have now been to 10 finals in that span. Celtics up 11 after 1. Now up 15. Middle of the second, it's Jason Tatum saying, hey, I learned this from you. The 3 over Steph and buries it. Then a little bit later in the second, now a 10-point game. Al Horford gets this steal. Sloppy game from the Warriors. Finds Tatum ahead. Tatum lobs it up for Brown for the dunk. And those two, the second duo, 25 or younger, to combine for 1,000 points in a single postseason. Celtics led by 12 at the break, but it's the third quarter because of the rules. And the Warriors are great in their third quarter, particularly these finals. This is their time. Early third, Celtics still up 11. Warriors turn it over. Celtics, though, hurry to get the ball and watch Horford. Horford finds Brown, full court pass. Behind the defense, that is a dunk. The heads-up play is tremendous. Horford, Brown, Celtics in full control. They're up 13. We go middle of the third, still waiting on those Warriors. It's a 10-point game, and here they come. Curry, jumper, cuts that lead to 8. Now a 9-point game. Curry again, the 3. This is the big moment, though, because watch the landing. The 3 is good. The landing looked painful, but he kind of stood up and shut it off. It's called a flagrant, though. Cuts it to 5 after the made free throw. Then Warriors now down 2. Curry another 3. Hits it. They were down 18. Now they lead. It's their first lead since the game was 2-0. Warriors up 1, but 2 minutes to go in the third. Celtics fighting back. They're up 2. Tatum on the attack makes it 4. That was the difference at the end of 3. We go to the fourth. Celtics up 6. The shot clock winding down. Marcus Smart calls bank on this. Boom. One might say it's squish. 24 points. Celtics up 9. 9 to go. Celtics still at that 9-point mark. Smart gonna miss, but Grant Williams is there. But a stellar game for him. He had 10 points off the bench, 5 rebounds. It's an 11-point lead for the Celtics. 6 minutes to go. The spread is 9. Tatum through the traffic, 26 points, 9 assists, and 6 rebounds. 4 minutes to play. Getting a little dicey, getting a little desperate. Let the bodies hit the floor, and that's the problem for Steph Curry. The man is in pain because Al Horford falls on his leg. Curry finished with 31 points. More on the injury and how Steph feels in a second. But under 4 to go, this game is well in hand for the Celtics. Up 12. Horford lobs it up to Robert Williams. That's a jam. It's 116-100. That is the final. It's a 2-1 series lead for the Celtics. But what about Steph?
Obviously, be some pain, but I'll be all right. Figure out how it feels tomorrow and get ready for Friday. Huh? Same thing I did in Denver or against Boston in the regular season, but I'll be not as bad.
Anthony on the right.
So foot sprain, essentially.
That's what it felt like, and then I'll see how it responds. So not much other to say. I don't feel like I'll miss a game, though, so take advantage of these next 48 hours to get ready.
Yeah, I saw him getting dove on, and that was about that. So I picked up my foul, pushing him off of him because he's screaming at the bottom of the pile. So, yeah, it is what it is. I'll take the foul. I'm going to get him off his legs, though. So it's all good.
Curry finished with 31. Klay Thompson had 25. Those two did their part. It was the 7th time as well that they both scored 25 points or more in the finals, tied for the 3rd most by any duo all time. It's only a couple of Laker greats with more, but a loss is still a loss.
We clawed our way back, had a 1-point lead at one point in the third quarter, and you do all that work to get back into it, but we feel like we can play a lot better with that same, third quarter intensity where you're not on your heels for, big parts of the game and don't have to win the game twice in a sense. So we got to correct that if we want to, get game 4.
Draymond, how do you feel you played?
Like,
What was the difference this game?
I just think I never found a rhythm, really on both ends of the floor. So not enough force, but just got to find the rhythm quicker.
I think we're making more shots in the third, and they're making more shots in the fourth. I don't know. I have to watch the film, but we're not going to overreact. We've been in this situation before. I'm getting big 2015 vibes.
Well, now the Celtics have won their 7th straight game following a loss this postseason. They're now the 4th team to do that over the last 40 years. No pressure or anything, but each of the previous 3 teams, well, they went on to win the title.
Just from a strictly physical standpoint, we matched their intensity better than last game, especially in the third quarter. So, it's ebbs and flows of a series, it's a long series, and we don't love how we kind of wilted at times last game, and that was a big point of emphasis the last few days.
If we were going to come out here and play, the last thing when we left that court, we didn't want to say, well, we weren't physical enough, and it worked out for us. So, I give credit to JB the way he came out and started the game. We just followed his lead after that.
Our team obviously is, in a position to be to win some games and do something special. So coming out each and every night and putting our best foot forward is what we got to do. And when we win as a team, it feels even better. And tonight was a great team win for us.
When we respond to tough situations, when we respond to teams going on runs and things like that, we call a timeout, we regroup, and lock back in. I think that's when we're at our best. And I think we did that several times a night, and I think that's as a result, we end up winning the game.
All right, we welcome in NBA analyst and veteran Jalen Rose onto SportsCenter. Jalen, 2 questions. Let's start with the first, obviously. At one point, it was Warriors 83-82 in the third quarter. The Celtics took over after that. What happened?
This was a character win for the Boston Celtics. And usually the third quarter Warriors, I like to term them the 31st NBA team. They come out with flurries and they blitz basketball teams. They've done that to the Celtics in this series. And all of a sudden the Celtics show some toughness. They got all of the loose balls. They got offensive rebounds. Yeah, they were led by their big 3 in scoring, Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, and Marcus Smart. But I want to applaud the toughness of Robert Williams III, who's clearly out there playing injured, contesting shots, blocking shots. Al Horford taking advantage of smaller matchups. It was really about toughness for the Boston Celtics, and they did a terrific job of overcoming the Golden State Warriors run, in particular in the third quarter.
All right, so Golden State shot just 5 for 15 in the fourth. That's 33%. Not good. So Robert Williams, particularly, he stepped it up in the second half, more notably on defending screens. How was he able to make such a big impact, making shooters uncomfortable 2 months after knee surgery?
Absolutely. Yes, because when you're playing against the Golden State Warriors, they like to do a lot of dribble handoffs. They like to do a lot of reverse action, a lot of pin down action. The bigs on that action, Al Horford, Robert Williams III in particular, you must get up to the 3-point line. Newsflash, Steph Curry is the NBA's all-time leader in regular season threes, postseason threes, and NBA Finals threes. And he plays with Klay Thompson, who got going, and Jordan Poole, who can get going. The bigs for the Boston Celtics did an excellent job defending the 3-point line, forcing the Golden State Warriors to finish in traffic, in particular in the paint. And anytime you're the Boston Celtics and you can double up the Warriors in points off of turnovers and points in the paint, you're going to win on your home floor.
Jalen Rose joining us on SportsCenter, and also come and fly with the suit. Thank you, brother.
Thank you, my brother. Appreciate the love.
SportsCenter on the road is...
Back to Boston we go for more on the Celtics. We bring in our Stephen A. Smith. Look, the third quarter began, and the Warriors came out, and they did what we expected the Warriors to do. But Boston fought back. From your seat, how did they do it?
Well, listen, they stepped it up defensively. They were incredibly physical. They were in Steph Curry's face, in Klay Thompson's face, in everybody's face, to be quite honest with you. And you got to look at the stat line at the end of the game. They doubled the Warriors up in points in the paint. They doubled them up with second chance points. Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, and Marcus Smart combined for 77 points on the night. And in these NBA Finals, they're a plus 40 in the fourth quarter. That should tell you something about how formidable these Boston Celtics are. They're younger, they've got fresher legs, they're bigger, they're stronger, they know it, and they're coming all at the Warriors. And the Warriors need some kind of response, but the task is more arduous when you got a guy like Draymond Green that gets the crowd revved up, gets the Boston Celtics revved up, has everybody coming at him, seemingly loving it until tip-off time arrived, and then he proceeds to register a grand total of 2 points on 4 shots. Draymond Green had more fouls than points in this game. That is horrid, and he's going to have to fix that because tonight the Golden State Warriors were playing 4-on-5 basketball on the offensive side of the floor. That ain't getting it done against these Boston Celtics.
So when they sit down and they start reviewing the tape tomorrow, where does Steve Kerr start when it comes to Draymond?
He's got to get it. You got to tell him to be more aggressive offensively. Attack the basket. Get to the free throw line. Try to get somebody in foul trouble. Stay away from the jump shots if you don't have that level of confidence in making those. But you have to be a threat. And by the way, by attacking the basket, the likelihood is that you might get somebody in foul trouble or attack the basket and kick it out to open shooters. If you try that, you might get them more easier shots as opposed to having contested shots to ward off when you're going up against the Boston Celtics. The other thing Steve Kerr is going to have to step up and do, you're a 3-time champion. This is your 6th NBA Finals. You know what? You do know how to use your bench. Try that. Because on the bench, whether it's in Moody, a little bit more Poole, an Otto Porter, and others, play these guys a little bit more. Use those fresh legs that you got, not with Porter because he's older, but some of the younger guys. Put them in the game. Put a Kuminga in the game. Just throw them in there for a few minutes just to have active young bodies to go at the active young Boston Celtics if you can. Because Steph Curry is being worn out. You can't win just playing him and looking for him to come and save the day. It's not going to work.
He did all he could. 116-100, the final. Celtics now have a 2-1 series lead. That is Steve.
Injury to Steph Curry that forced him out of the game?
No. You mean when they dove on the floor for the jump ball?
Yeah.
I kept him in the game.
Right, and then you took him out at the 2-minute mark.
I took him out with 2 minutes left because we were down by 14 points. So
no concern for Steph moving forward.
I didn't say that. The injury didn't force him out of the game, but I took him out down 14 with 2 minutes left because we weren't going to catch up. We'll know more tomorrow.
Yeah, I saw him getting dove on, and that was about that. So I picked up my foul, pushing him off of him because he's screaming at the bottom of the pile. So yeah, it is what it is. I'll take the foul. I'm gonna get him off his legs though. So it's all good.
Saw the numbers there on Draymond. He fouled out of the game. Curry and Thompson, though, they did their part. Curry had 31, Thompson 25. It was the 7th time that they both scored 25 points in the finals. That's tied for the 3rd most by any duo all time. But a loss is a loss. New on SportsCenter, Steph Curry.
Obviously, be some pain, but I'll be all right. Figure out how it feels tomorrow and get ready for Friday. Huh? Same thing I did in Denver or against Boston in the regular season, but I'll be not as bad.
Anthony on the right.
So foot sprain, essentially.
That's what it felt like, and then I'll see how it responds. So not much other to say. I don't feel like I'll miss a game, though, so take advantage of these next 48 hours to get ready.
Marcus
Thompson, The Athletic. Steph, you were getting kind of a lot of the shots you want third quarter. What changed in the fourth, and how were they able to slow you guys down?
We had some unforced turnovers the first couple of possessions of the fourth, and that obviously led to them getting some easy buckets, extending the lead a little bit. And we settled down a little, I think, a little bit after that and got some good shots. They tried to send a little bit more attention to our pick and rolls. I think we could slow down just a little bit and try to find the right matchups. But that first 2 or 3 minutes kind of set the tone for the rest of the fourth. It gave him a little bit of a cushion. And we had a hard time, responding after that. So between first 3 minutes of the fourth and the first 12 minutes of the game, that was pretty much it.
Back left.
Steph, Tim Cowicon, The Athletic. Draymond did say in the pile that he heard you screaming. Was it just a lot of pain there, and how scary was that?
Yeah, he's a big body, obviously. I haven't seen the play, so I don't know if it could have been avoided or not, but I was in that situation with Marcus back in the Bay, and you just want to get your foot out of there. That was all I was trying to do at that point, knowing the position I was in. But like I said, it's not as, for what I feel like, it's not as bad. So hopefully it responds well over the next 2 days.
Question on the right.
Dan Feldman, NBC Sports. When Robert Williams is out there, how much does that affect what shots you can take, what passes you can make?
I mean, we've in our game plan we've talked about just being aware of where he is, because especially depending on who he's guarding, he can kind of come out of nowhere. There was a play early in the fourth. I got by Grant Williams. I thought I had a daylight to get a shot up, and underestimate how athletic he was and how much he could bother that shot. So there are situations where we can use that to our advantage, because he's going to be aggressive. He's going to keep trying to make plays on the ball. You got to be aware of where he is, because that's what he does for them on that end of the floor.
Is that something you have to feel out game by game with his health, how much he can do and what you can do against it?
No, it was after the first game. You kind of got to feel, and then it's just a matter of can you execute or not, and can you make the right decisions every single time. It's a bang play, whether you're looking to get a shot off the rim or you got to swing it, because he's showing his length.
David in the middle.
David Aldrich, The Athletic. Steph, you've heard over the years fans getting on Draymond for various things. What do you think of the chants tonight and the frequency of the chants?
Par for the course. Every arena you kind of get a little something. It's been like that the whole playoffs, and every run we've made over the course. He expects it. So no different tonight.
Vince.
Steph, Vince Goodwill, Yahoo Sports. Was this one of those games when you start off early and you fall behind 10, 12 points? Did you feel like this was one of those games you had to hang around in, and maybe you could kind of steal it on the back end if you just stayed close enough? And, in relation to that fall, do you feel like maybe there's a little recklessness there in that situation, considering it's the second time that's happened to you against them this season?
I mean, the first question is you want to get off to a better start, because you got to know that like a really good team like Boston is, they're going to feed off of the change of venues and coming out with a lot of energy and aggression. And, Jalen got off to a good start in the first quarter. Made some tough shots, some ones we didn't really press up into his body. And we paid the price for that over the course of the game, because we clawed our way back, had a 1-point lead at one point in the third quarter, and you do all that work to get back into it. But we feel like we can play a lot better with that same third quarter intensity, where you're not on your heels for big parts of the game and don't have to win the game twice in a sense. So we got to correct that if we want to get game 4. I don't really have any comments on the other play. I haven't really seen it yet. I just know how it felt.
Dan here in the middle.
Steph, Dan Devine from The Ringer. When Clay was up here, he mentioned the fact that you've sort of been here before in 2015, down 2-1. I'm wondering if you see any similarities in terms of this Boston team, that Cavs team, the situations, the physicality in the series, any parallels you can draw as you move forward trying to get back into the series?
Nothing specific, just that the situation is what it is. We're on the road. We must-win game 4. We had a must-win game after a tough one in game 1, and we got game 2. So the flow, we still feel like we obviously can win the series, and got to come out with the right intensity and focus in Game 4. But to Clay's point, it does help knowing we've been through a little bit of everything over these last 8 years, and can draw on that experience of showing up, when you need to stay in the series.
Last question to Kendra up front.
Do you remember the last time you had just one free throw in a game? And did tonight's Celtics defense on you feel the same level of physical and tightness as it had through the first 2 games, or different or more?
Felt the same. I mean, their personnel and the way that they defend, they are very physical. They have a way of, obviously with Marcus on the ball, he's pretty aggressive. Robert and behind the play, and they got usually a lot of length and size on the wings. I don't know why it was only one free throw. I felt like there were a couple possessions that could have, or plays that could have gone my way. It is hard to understand the flow of the game based on some of the calls that went my way, where I have 4, and you're having to defend a certain way because you want to stay